Hello world and all my friends and subscribers out there. So today I am continuing with my How to Paint Minis with Regular Acrylic Paints series, and today I'm going to be doing washes, or how I make washes out of my regular acrylic paints. So the things that I use are the things that you're going to need if you want to replicate this is the acrylic paints you're using in the colour that you want to make a wash out of. You're going to need your just your regular paintbrush water that you use to rinse your paintbrushes in, but it needs to be clean. I put a drop of dishwashing liquid or soft soap that you use to wash your hands in my water. Just helps keep things clean and breaks up the surface tension. And the key ingredient that you're going to need is some kind of alcohol, ethanol. I'm using Listerine here because it has ethanol in it, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to start out by putting some paint of my choice on my palette, and just starting to mix that up with a few drops of water. Now this is the water that I use to rinse my paintbrushes. It's clean, it has a drop of dish soap in it, as I already explained before. So you can see I'm putting some water in with the paint just to get it to the right kind of consistency. I don't want to make it too watery with the water, I just want to put in a few drops and just to get it kind of mixed in and started. I don't want to make my wash entirely out of alcohol, and I'll explain why at the end of the video. So after I've done that, I'm going to use my alcohol of choice, my ethanol, my Listerine. Just going to add a few drops of that and water that down the rest of the way to the right consistency, or the right strength of wash that I want. Now I'm using Reeves Acrylics, as I have been for this and going to be for this whole series. So they are a bit grainy, but they worked really well actually. They worked out just fine, and the graininess is actually a bonus. And as I will show you at the end of the video as well. So I'm just adding my Listerine in there until I have the right thickness of wash that I want. And I'm just going to test it on my palette just to see that it is the right strength. And that's good, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. So just give me a second while I move all my stuff out of the way and get Mr. Gut Rot here. So I'm going to start painting my wash on as you would any other wash, of course. Now it becomes really clear why I've used the alcohol as I'm starting to put the wash on. So what will happen is the alcohol actually, it breaks surface tension, but not only that, it also makes the paint or the wash move very easily and kind of move away from the high spots and into the low spots very easily, because alcohol has this kind of I'm not entirely sure what it is. If somebody could explain it to me, that would be great. It's like, you know how you get legs when you're swirling a glass of wine? It's kind of got something to do with that. So now with the type of alcohol you want to use, of course I've used Listerine, the non-flavoured kind, because it has the ethanol in it, like I said. And for those of you who aren't 18 or 21 or whatever, you're not old enough to get vodka, which you can also use, I've used that before, works great, works just the same. But if you can't, if you're young and you can't get alcohol, get some non-flavoured Listerine, and it works great. So as you can see, I want to cover my whole model because I do want to have him looking kind of grungy. But you can see it's flowing into all those low spots really nicely. It's not pulling up, it's not beading off of the model. It's working really nicely. Now with this kind of wash, with these specific acrylics, Reeves, they are going to make the wash a little patchy, but you can easily reactivate the wash once it's dry, or you can just take a clean brush and brush it off. But I would wait until the wash is dry before trying to remove any that's in places you don't want it to be. Now this is because when you soak a miniature, or not really a miniature, but acrylic paint with this ethanol or alcohol, it actually lifts the paint up. So if you have got a wash down and you go to move your paintbrush around too much, that paint will actually come away because of the thin layers. If there's washes underneath the wash you're putting on, it would definitely come up. If there's only a thin layer of paint over the top of the plastic, it would definitely come up. So once you put a wash on, I wouldn't try and do anything else to your miniature while it's drying. Leave that wash alone, let it dry, and if you want to fix a spot, you can do it once it's dry. Because what you can do is just add a little bit of Listerine or alcohol to your brush, just a damp brush, brushed over the areas you don't want the wash, if it's gone somewhere too thick or whatever, and just brush it with your brush and it should just reactivate and come right off. So I'm just finishing up here. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what the wash does and what it looks like once it's dry. So as you can see, I'm touching the wash on my palette that's completely dried. Now my palette is a really smooth white plastic. If I touch it with my finger, it rubs off. However, when I do it to the miniature, because I've used these paints with quite rough pigments in them, they're not glossy at all. They've already got a texture before I put the wash on. So when I rub it with my finger, the wash does not come off. However, if I was to use a damp brush or put some Listerine or alcohol on my finger and rub it, it would reactivate the acrylics medium that's in with the pigment, and it would remove that. So if you need to remove an area, you can do it that way. So I'll just show you some photographs of Mr. Gutrot up close, and so you can see what the wash turned out like. As you can see, it's kind of patchy because of the cheapness of the paints. However, it's not too bad. I mean, it's the look I'm going for here with him, because I want him to look dirty and dingy and cool. And of course with washes you can always go over the top with your layering if you paint that way anyway. So of course when you put a wash on, it's going to look kind of patchy and things regardless. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions for me, please ask them in the description below. And next up in the series is going to be glazes, and that will be coming up soon. So keep an eye out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.